Can you hear me now? Okay, so you can hear me now. Hey, Marty Baker, CG, good to see you on here. And reselling with Woody. How's Woody doing, and how is Mrs. Woody? So you can hear me now. Okay, great. I don't know what was going on with it. I guess the there we go. So I had got to get my bearings back. So I guess things just happen every now and then. But what I was saying is, I just got back from Mount Airy, North Carolina, where I went up there last Sunday. And if you've been watching me, and I know that Woody has been watching me because he was on my last two live streams, and CG as well, and Marty. I was up in Mount Airy all week for Mayberry days, and I was hanging out with my buddy Chad, the Wolfmeister, and we went and we did some thrifting together. CG says, I hope everything has been going well recently. Yeah, things have been going really well. I had a great trip. I enjoyed my time there. Got a lot of great content. I was there Saturday morning for the Mayberry Day Parade, and so I got all that. And I actually saw the Wienermobile for the first time. I've been looking for the Wienermobile, and I haven't seen it. And it was actually at the parade on Saturday, so that was really great. Had a good time. Woody says, looking good with the beard. Thank you, Woody. I appreciate that. And hit the like. Yes, hit the like. And if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe too. Woody, I missed your last live stream. I saw you did a live stream right after our live stream last Wednesday, I think it was. And if I had known you were going to do a live stream, I would have got on there. I hate that I missed your live stream, buddy. Love you too, Marty. Glad you had fun. Yes, I did. I had a great time. Me and Chad went thrifting almost every day I was there. And I would go thrifting with Chad after he did his live stream. I was his live studio audience this week. And so we would hit the road, and we went to Elkin one day, Elkin, North Carolina. That's one of the cities there. We went to Mount Airy one day to the Goodwill. And then we went to pick his friend's place. His friend's name is Chad, and so he calls it Chad's. So I picked Chad's thrift store, and then I picked Chad, as also known as Wolfman's Goodies, private stash in his small storage area. Marty says, you didn't shave your beard. That's right, I didn't. I decided to keep it. So I'm going to keep it for a while. Hopefully it will continue to look okay. Woody says, I'll be getting back to a normal schedule starting Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Central. Locker room find. So go check out Woody at 2:00 p.m. on Wednesday. He'll have his locker room find. So I've got a lot of stuff that I picked up this week, and I wanted to share some of that stuff with you. A couple of those items are just souvenirs that I got. So let me reach over here and get this stuff. I'm going to show you the souvenirs I picked up first. So I got this sign at Wally's service station, and it says reserved parking, Mayberry Sheriff's Office only. Unauthorized vehicles will be towed by Wally service. So I'm thinking maybe put that over here. Replace my neighbors have better candy sign. I don't know. I like my neighbors have better candy sign. So I don't know where I'll put it, but I'll find a good place for it. Woody says, once you get past the itching, it'll all be good. Yeah, it's taken me a little while to get used to having a beard. Sometimes us YouTubers need to take a break. Yeah, what are you apologizing for? No need to apologize. It's always good to take breaks. But this other item I also got this at Wally's service station. This is the top of the box. It says Goober says, hey, Wally's service station, Mayberry. And this is a metal badge, just like the one that Andy wore on the Andy Griffith show. So this is a high quality badge. It has the metal pin on it. So if you were gonna, do a dress up as Andy, this would be the badge that you would want to get. It is authentic sheriff's badge from Mayberry. And that was the most expensive thing I bought. I paid $29 for this badge. So now I've got two badges. Well, the last place I went to was Tombstone, and I got a Marshall's badge when I was in Tombstone. But this parking sign was like $16. So Woody says, that's a cool piece. Yeah, I love it. Tig. Tigger is getting, if you want to get down, you got to go down this way, Tigger. You can't climb over on my stuff. Outdoors Dreadhead. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? Been missing you on my live streams. I hope everything is going well with you. I know you're relocating to a different place. So where are you headed, brother? Outdoors Dreadhead said he ran into Ernest T. Bath. Are you talking about Ernest T. Bass? Or Cletus by chance? Yes, I actually did see Ernest T. I saw Ernest T. on Saturday, or a guy that was dressed up like him, and he was a dead ringer. He looked just like him. Woody says, so you take your camper when you go on these trips? Yes, I do. Outdoors has seen my Mercedes Sprinter van that I have turned into a camper van. I really love it. It's great because I can stealth park on the street and nobody has a clue that there's somebody inside. I've got these blackout curtains that I can put up, and so I'll go and I got my refrigerator, I've got my TV, I've got all the comforts of home except for maybe air conditioning. But it wasn't bad up there. I mean, it was 60s at night, and so I was really comfortable. I had a little fan that I plugged into my power unit, and the fan was perfect. I mean, I was in heaven. It was really good sleeping there. I slept in Chad's front yard all week long, and then on Friday night, I decided I was going to go into Mount Airy because I know parking and all that good stuff is kind of hard to get when you come in on the day of the parade. So what I did was I went in the night before, and I parked in the parking lot behind the post office, which we found out about that as a place to potentially park because the guy across the street has a store, a general store, and we went in there the day before and bought a bunch of signs and stuff, which I'll be showing you the video of the signs for my show and tell tonight. Woody says he has a 36-foot fifth wheel Montego Bay. Man, that is nice. I wish I had something that nice. So outdoors is in Idaho at the beet harvest. Cool. Have you already started working at the beet harvest, or are you just about to start? So at one of the stores we went to, I found this advertisement piece. It's a camel advertisement piece. This was only $1. And this is one of those things you see at the front desk when you go to, at a service station or something like that, to advertise for Camel cigarettes. So I picked this up for $1 and I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know what it's worth. I don't know if I want to resell it or if I just want to put it up as a display piece, because I have a camel clock. I was thinking about just setting it on top of the camel clock and leaving it up. But yeah, that somebody stapled it here in the back right there. There's a staple. But it looks like it at one time it unfolded here and it just kind of sat on the counter at the place, you know, as a display. So that's one of the cool things I picked up, and for only $1, that you can't beat that. You know, advertisement pieces are really neat. So Outdoors said he did 2 days so far at the beet harvest. So how was it? Is it grueling? Is it hard work? Also, at that same store where I got the camel advertisement, I found this book. It's a Red Ryder. You know, I never opened it up, but it's a comic book. It's a Red Ryder comic book. I know Red Ryder was real big back in the 60s, maybe even in the 50s. But I picked up this comic book also for $1, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I picked it up. And I haven't looked this one up, so I don't know what it's worth. And that was at one of the local thrift stores, local flea market type stores that's close to Chad's house. And when we went to Chad's, not Chad, but the other Chad, where Chad shops a lot, I got this. He gave us this Coneheads. Chad got one and I got one, and this is a set of 4 Conehead comic books, and they're all in the sleeve, so they're in very good condition. There's 4 of them all together. This one's turned around, but there's 4 of them all together. Chad with Wolfman's Goodies looked this up, and he said that they're selling for about $18 for the set of 4. So I'm probably going to list that on my eBay for like $20, because I have 10% off on all my items on eBay. Dang it. This tape is sticking to the front of the... I'm going to have to be careful putting this thing back in here. There we go. Got it back. So that was a freebie, valued at $18. And you know, who don't like the Coneheads? You remember the Coneheads back in the day on Saturday Night Live? Let me see if I can put this over here where it won't get damaged. William, welcome on to the live stream. I hope you're doing good tonight. What's happening, buddy? That's my brother, William Smith. Good to see you. Interesting beard. Thank you. And Marty says she likes my shirt with my logo on it, with the cat and the van. Thank you. Woody says he likes comic books. Yeah, I like comic books too. You want to buy that one, Woody? Outdoor says he was digging the beard too. Oh, wow. You got 14,000 comic books. That is quite a collection there, Woody. I also found this at the Habitat Restore. Some kind of platter or tray. This, you can tell this is antique. That's very old. And it has Great Smoky Mountains on it. And it's got some different places that you can visit. The Loop River, native black bear, Cherokee Indians. And it looks like there's a mill down here, Pigeon River Mill. So yeah, I guess you could say this is a platter. Outdoor says he remembers the Conehead movie. Yeah, that was a pretty cool movie. And I used to watch the Coneheads pretty regular on Saturday Night Live. William says Valerie doesn't like his beard. So let me show you a couple of the other things I got. I buy a lot of these old alarm clock AM/FM radios that have the LED display, either the red or the green, or some of them even have blue. And I found one at one of the thrift stores that me and Chad went to, that I had never seen before, and it was $5. And this is a Weston clock radio, okay? But I have never seen one with a phone. This one actually has a phone. So when you've got your alarm clock set, your AM/FM radio, why not have a phone? Because back in the day, everybody had a phone by their bed, didn't they? So I've never seen one with a phone. This is the first. I did look it up, and they're selling for about $25 to $30. I paid $5 for this one. Whoops. See, $5. And I think the reason that it didn't go for, it doesn't sell for as much as the ones I usually sell, is because it's made by Weston. Weston is not a real high-end brand. Most of the ones that I get are General Electric or some other brand that's better known. But this one also has a couple little burn marks on it too. You can see there's burn marks. That's actually burned into the plastic, like something hot got on it and burned it. There's another one right there. So it's going to have a little bit of damage. So that might not sell for, a whole lot, probably about $18. And I got to figure out some way to test it too. Badlands Bandit, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you on here, my friend. He says, hello, Sam and Retire Inspired Nation. Glad you made it back to headquarters safely from the Tar Heel State. Yes, I did. It was a pretty long drive. It was like 7.5 hours, but it's about 9 hours when you count that I had to stop for gas and get food and fuel and all that stuff. So it was about 9 hours total. Woody says, you better watch it or Sam will have a bigger beard than you. Yeah, that's true. William says he shaved his. Badlands Bandit, smoking in bed, never a good idea. I agree. I smoked back in the day. I smoked for about 10 years, and I put it down. I said, no, I'm not going to smoke anymore. So I just quit cold turkey. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. I'm not going to say it was easy. Woody says, have you heard of a Curtis? I found one in the locker I bought. I don't think it's worth much. You mean a Curt? Is it a AM/FM clock radio called Curtis that you're talking about? If that's the question, no, I haven't. Have never heard of it. Curtis as a brand. Oh, Curtis Radio. No, I haven't heard of that. The last thing I bought was on the day of Mayberry days. Actually, I got some other stuff I'm going to show you in a video, but this is the stuff that I'm just showing you now. But this is an old Uncle Sam's register bank. This one doesn't work anymore. I have a couple of these that were made in the 70s, but this one was actually made before that. It was this version of this bank, of this Uncle Sam's 3-coin bank, was made in 1919, allegedly. So on the bottom, it gives the manufacturer's name, Cleveland, and it says the Durable Toy and Novelty Company, patent pending. I don't know if you can see that. So this one is a little more special than some of the ones that are on eBay now. You can see that this is raised lettering. It's not like the newer ones, you know, it's just a piece of, the newer ones have just, I'll show you one. Okay, so this is the original Uncle Sam 3-coin bank. And this is the one, the one that they made in the 70s. This is what it looks like. So you see this one has just the lettering printed on a piece of metal, but this is actually raised lettering. So it's higher quality. They, of course, they went down in quality when they redid them, but this was supposed to have been originally done around 1919. When we were kids, when I was a kid, and William remembers this, I'm sure, we all got a bank like this for Christmas one year, and it's for saving your money. Once you get $10 of change in there, after you know pull that down, and you get $10 of change in there, this door right here will open up, and you can get your money and take it to the bank, so you can start you a bank account. That was what it was all for. Woody says the Curtis radio goes for $12 to $45. Okay. So I'm going to share with you something I picked up. This was the first day that I went downtown Mount Airy, and I went into one of the downtown stores. It was an antique dealer, or they just had stuff. And this thing was sitting out here. It was a Atari 2600. And it had like 46 games with it. And the first day I walked in, I saw the thing sitting on the bench, and it wasn't priced. And I asked the guy, I said, how much is that 2600? And he said, it's not priced. And he acted like he didn't really care about the price or anything like that. But 2 days later, I came back and I went in there and I said, hey, did you get a price on this thing? And he says, hold on a second. And he says, the owner's in the back. So he comes out from the back end. He says the owner said he would take $100 for it. So I said, fine, that sounds like a fair deal to me. So I went ahead and bought it. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you this video. Okay, it's time for tonight's show and tell. So I'm gonna let you guys see what I picked up in Mount Airy. And this is a little TV that I picked up last weekend. Okay, so I got this Atari 2600 game. It's got the 2 joysticks with it and 2 paddles. And it had a total of 46 games as well. And then there's 2 extra joysticks there and another paddle kind of joystick here. All of this was for $100. So I looked this up online to see what it's worth. And this is worth about $150 with just 20 games. So I can only imagine what it would be. Remember Frogger? So let's look at some of the games we've got here. So we've got some of your classics. We've got Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Mousetrap, Combat, Yar's Revenge, Missile Command, Berserk. And then we got this little tower as well. And I have never seen one of these towers that are made just for holding these games. But in this tower, we've got a couple of games, Riddle of the Sphinx, Space Invaders, Joust, a couple of the good ones that I can remember. So yeah, that's part one. So I've never seen one of those towers that holds the games before for an Atari. Have you guys seen those before? Woody asked, what is the year? What year is the Atari? I'm not sure what year it is. I looked at the bottom. I want to say 77, but I don't know for sure. And I know it's an older one. The paint it's been used so much. The paint on top of it is kind of wore out a little bit, but it's still in really good condition. And as you can tell, it actually works. And it is a 6-switch. That's an awesome console. Maybe a 19. Yeah, I think it's a 1977 console. I looked those up on eBay, and the ones that I saw listed working with 20 games are selling for about $150. I paid $100 for that one. I'm thinking that I could get pretty close to $200 if I sell it with all the games and with the joysticks and the paddles. It had the 2 paddles with it as well, and it also had what else did it have? It had those other 2 joysticks too. So I think that was a pretty good deal for $100. I think it ought to work out pretty good. So you're real familiar with Ataris. You said you sell them and you specialize in them, or do you refurbish them also, or do you just sell them? Woody, I'll give you 125. Okay. Well, let me think about that. That would be not a lot of return. That's $25 profit, but let me think about it. So I'll show you. I've got another video that I did tonight too that I'm going to share with you. I did like 3 videos, kind of a show and tell videos. When Chad and I went out, we went to the store that I was telling you that's actually across the street from where I was parked overnight. The first night we got these beer signs, Pabst Blue Ribbon signs that have the Bigfoot on them. They're kind of rare signs. Chad's got them listed on eBay, and so I'll be listing one on eBay also, and I'll be putting them in my booth. But on Mayberry Day, I went back to this guy's store, the general store he's got there in downtown Mayberry or Mount Airy, and I picked up some other additional signs that he had that had thermometers on it. So I'm going to show you this video now. I got 8 of these Bigfoot Pabst Blue Ribbon signs. Chad put me on to those, and then I got an extra sign. Wilderness is my happy place. But these signs I was able to get for about $6 a piece, and they sell on eBay. They're kind of a rare sign, and they sell on eBay for about $35 a piece. Then I went back the next day and I got these double bubble thermometers. They're made to look like the antique, the old kind. And I got 3 of those. And I got some of these Texaco thermometers. There's 3 more of those double bubble. Got a Marilyn Monroe, 2 Marilyn Monroes, and a Texaco, 2 Texacos there. And then I've got a different kind of Texaco here. And shell. And 3 shells. Some more Texaco. that's what I got. So I want to probably list those for about $35 a piece on eBay. Plus I'll put some of them in my booth and see how they do there. And if they do well, I can always get some more, pay for them using my debit card, and then Chad can mail them to me and I'll pay him for the postage. So that's part 2. So those are the signs that I picked up. Chad has the same signs in his eBay store. So I'll list one in my eBay store, and I'll put one in my booth at the flea market. So Woody says he doesn't refurbish them, but he collects them. So you collect the Ataris. How many do you have now? And do you have the 7600 or whatever it's called? I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Those are cool. Thank you very much. 6 watching. Let's have some conversation in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. You guys ask some questions. I'd love to get your input on things. So there's one other video that I did. Oh, actually 2 more videos. So I'm going to show you those. This is a clock that I picked up. This is a local clock. I picked this up here in the Montgomery area before I went on my trip. But it's a really cool clock. I love clocks. Part 3, I want to show you this old antique clock that I got. It's called a gingerbread clock. And this one was made by a company that went out of business in 1886. So I know it's way over 100 years old. But I picked this up at a thrift store before I left for my trip to Mount Airy. And I paid $150 for it. When I looked it up, it said it's worth about $350 in working condition, and as this one is in working condition and in very good condition. So I paid $150 for that clock, and when I looked it up, it is worth about $350. So Marty says, how much is that shirt you had on last week? My shirt is $19.99 from Sticker Mill. So that's what they cost. CG says he likes clocks too. And reselling with Woody says, absolutely. Love clocks. There's a Batman villain, the Clock King, that has clock obsession. I didn't know about that. And reselling with Woody says, good find. Thank you. I appreciate that. So there's one other video that I'm going to show you, and this is where I went to Chad's mini storage, Chad Wolfman's Goodies. I went to his mini storage and did a private pick of his mini storage and got a bunch of really good Guitar Hero guitars. So I think these will do really well. So let's take a look at this video. Part 4, I picked up a bunch of these Guitar Hero guitars from Chad. Went picking in his stock. So I got several Fender Stratocasters, which are pretty good. And then I got some Gibsons. Here's a Gibson Guitar Hero with the dongle. Now this one is Gibson. It's got some stickers on it. And then another Gibson with Aerosmith. Another Fender Stratocaster. And another Gibson. And then this is my favorite one here. And this is a real special one. So that's Guitar Hero, it says. So yeah, I picked up a lot of guitars that I can flip for a good, decent little profit. So those Atari guitars, Atari, you got me thinking about Atari, Woody. But those guitars for Guitar Hero, they should do pretty good. The ones that I've got are the better ones. So he gave me a really good deal on those guitars. He said he doesn't list those on his eBay store. I guess that's not one of the things he likes to list. Like I told him, I don't like to list T-shirts. So he had a T-shirt on his live stream tonight that he showed that is probably going to get him about $60, but or maybe even 100. But that Looney Tune shirt he had, the single stitch, that was vintage, and I think it's a really good find. So I think the shirts at Goodwill are only like $1 a piece, but that was a really good find, and I helped him get that one. So hope he makes good money on it. No, I didn't watch the Marty. I didn't watch the Auburn and Texas A&M on Saturday. I was traveling. I was driving back from North Carolina, so I didn't get a chance to watch the game. Woody says he has most of the games. Are you talking about most of the Atari games? Yeah, I back in the day, I got an Atari. I didn't get an Atari. I had a friend who had an Atari, and so we would go over to his house and play his Atari, and his mom would make chili, so we would sit and eat chili and play Atari. I got a couple of other items, not too many more, but I got a couple of other items I wanted to share with you. I got this at the Goodwill, and it was only $3. These thermometers are really good. These sell for about $50 if they're in decent condition. This is not going to be new. It's a used thermometer, and one of the things you want to do if you get these thermometers, you want to be sure and look in the box and make sure it is the thermometer that is in the box, because a lot of times they'll take these thermometers out. They'll replace their thermometer and then they'll put their old thermometer in the box. But this is the thermometer that goes in this box. And it's got all the stuff that goes with it, the screws and the instructions and all of that stuff is in there. So I think I might can sell it as open box. And so I think it'll do pretty well, maybe $50. So $3 into $50 is a pretty good deal in my opinion. And I got this door chime. This is brand new in the package. There's a box for this somewhere, but it didn't have the box. But this is brand new in the package. It's a new house door chime. And this was $1. So anything that's not marked is $1 in the Goodwill. So I think that'll go for about $18 to $25, somewhere around there. And I got this advertisement for Planters Peanuts at the same place that I got the Camel advertisement. This was also $1. I thought it was a pretty good find. I'm not sure exactly what this thing is. Maybe someone can tell me. I'm thinking it was supposed to hold the peanuts onto the advertisement. I'm not sure, but if you know what it is, let me know. I think it's a pretty cool advertisement. It's both sides and it's in pretty good condition. It does have a little bit of some marks here, maybe some mildew marks or something like that, but overall it's in very good shape, and it's got Mr. Peanut on it, and who don't like Mr. Peanut, right? So I'm going to share with you how my eBay store is doing now. When I was on vacation, I set my eBay store on time away. But it really did pretty good even though I was on time away, I did sell some pretty good items. So I'm going to share that with you. Let you guys see how I did over the time that I was away. So according to this, my sales for the last 31 days are $4,379.65. And you can see that the sales are kind of sporadic for the past week because I've been on vacation and my store has been set to time away. But I did have a couple of days where I had really good sales. For example, on the 24th of September, I had $803.73 in sales, and I'm going to show you what that was. But you see, I had several days where there were no sales. There were 3 days while I was gone that there were no, 4 days. On the 21st, the 22nd, the 25th, and the 26th, I had no sales in my eBay store. But I'm going to show you some stuff that sold while I was gone. That one particular day, I sold 2 big items for big money, and it was good. But I've got a bunch of stuff now that needs to get listed. So I'm going to get busy listing. Today I did sell a DVD for $40. It's a new sealed, factory sealed VHS tape. It's not a DVD, correction. It's a Spider-Man VHS tape, 2002, sold for $40.50. That's a good deal. And then yesterday I sold this video security system with 4 cameras and a recorder for $102.60. And I also sold this 4-pod paintball harness pod for $22.49. This is one of the big sales that I had on the other day where I showed you I had the $800 in sales. So this is a Dale Earnhardt 2002 die-cast Winston Cup motor. And this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. If you like Dale Earnhardt, and if you like NASCAR and that sort of thing, it's 1/4 size of a real engine, and it actually has working parts in it, and it had live signatures. So the signatures on this thing were live. I'll show you that in just a second. There's Dale's signature, that's Stuart Parker's signature, and that's Teresa Earnhardt's signature. And this is the guy that does the Action Collectibles. I can't think of his name right now, but if I scroll down here, I can tell you. Fred Rammer, R-H-A-M-E-R, Dale Jr., Stuart Parker, Tony Stewart, and Teresa Earnhardt. And you know Teresa Earnhardt is Dale Earnhardt's widow. So I picked this up about 2 months ago. Someone came into my flea market booth and sold me a bunch of die casts, and they had this with them. It was kind of a risky purchase. I gave him $125 for it, but it sold for $400, so that was pretty good. Woody said that was a good thermostat. Is Mr. Peanuts. Yes, that was Mr. Peanut's son. And Marty says I need to shave my beard. What do you guys think? Should I shave my beard? Woody says no. No, he doesn't. That's the new style. And CG says, part of me misses tapes. You miss VHS tapes? You know, people are paying pretty good money for the VHS players now. So, you know. So let's get back to the same day, September 24th. This is the $800 day. I sold a vintage Lionel train set. So here's the train set. It's an old car. It's an old train set, and it's a Lionel. So the pieces are super heavy, and it looks like it was a complete set. It had everything with it, all the cars, the track, and and the electrical thing that goes with it. This thing right here, I don't know what it's called. The electric box that makes the train go. So it looks like it was a complete set. And it sold for $256.50. I picked this up at a thrift store for $25 about maybe 6 months ago. So that was a pretty good pickup. A lot of people like these trains. Woody says, to CG, you're rewinding tapes with a pencil. Yeah, I remember that. CG says, I didn't use pencil to rewind tapes. And he still has some of his old tapes. Oh, I thought we were talking about cassette tapes. I'm in and out. No, we were talking about VHS tapes, but you could rewind a VHS tape with a pencil. Some people had those rewinders that you could get. Did you ever have one of those? So on September 23rd, I sold a Pentax 35 millimeter film camera body. It didn't have the lens; it was just the body of the camera, and it sold for it sold for $85.50. So so the sales were pretty steady. I sold this pair of Nike Air Force Ones, and they're mid. They went through the authentication process and they were authenticated, so that was good. They sold for $76.50, and I was glad to see them go out the door. But I sold a variety of different items, and they've done pretty good. Yeah, be kind and rewind. That's absolutely true. Marty asked, are you selling a Barney toy on eBay? I don't know, but you know what? I'll be glad to look it up for you and see if I have anything listed that has Barney on it or is Barney toy. So let me go to my selling. So I'll look it up for you. Let's see. Let's go to my store. And then let's search the items for Barney. So these are the Barney items that I currently have. Looks like I've got a couple of plush, and I've got a VHS, 2 VHS, and that's it. That's all I got. That's Barney. When my kids were little, they had Barney's tennis shoes. But that's all I have. That's Barney. So let's go check out the flea market booth. So the flea market booth has been doing okay since I've been gone, but not as good as it was the previous 2 weeks. So here's my Let's see if you can see that. Okay, now you can see it. So here's my flea market booth. So I've done $276 in sales since the 16th of September. So I sold a DVD and for $5, a Johnny Lightning car for $7. On the 16th, on the 18th, I sold a comic for $4, Hot Wheels mystery car for $5, and a Hot Wheels Real Rider Chevelle for $20. The 19th, I sold a DVD and 2 VHS for a total of $9. 20th, I sold 2 DVDs for $5, total of $10. And then I sold some die-cast NASCAR Casey Kahn, $12. NASCAR Winner's Circle Bill Elliott, $12. And a Tony Stewart for $28, total of $62. On the 22nd, I sold a Dale Earnhardt die-cast for $30. 25th, I sold Batman. That would have been a die-cast car for $10. Sonny and Cher record on the 26th for $15. On the 27th, I sold $49 worth of items. A Johnny Lightning muscle car for $7. A Chevy Thunder Johnny Lightning for $10. 1997 Viper, $5 Matchbox. And a PS2 game Guitar Hero for $12 and a PS2 game Spider-Man for $15. So that was a pretty good day. And then today was probably the best day out of the whole 2 weeks. So today I sold a Honda die-cast for $45 and 3 Hot Wheels for $5 each. So that was $15. So that was $60. And that leaves my running total up to $276 since the 16th. My average sales price of 27 items is $11.04. So it's still paying the bills. I kind of wish that I had sold a couple of consoles, but you know, you can't sell consoles every week. If you did, that would be great. Woody says, kill the purple dinosaur. What I always say, kids burn me out on that. Yeah, I know. There was a lot of things that were said about the purple dinosaur back in the day. How much is the Barney? How much is the Barney? Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and look at that, and I'll let you know. And Woody says it's the grandkids with SpongeBob. Yeah. And Woody says, sell me an Atari and game for $130. Let me think about that, Woody. I'll let you know. I'm not saying no. I still got to go through it, and I'm going to clean it up real good, maybe take it apart, maybe, you know, give it a real good cleaning inside, and take some of those games apart as well, because they probably need some cleaning. Not every game that I had when I plugged it in worked right away. Sometimes I had to blow into it a little bit. But so that tells me that I probably need to clean some of those games. So I probably will take them apart and clean them. And they're for your collection, not to resell. I get it. So looks like I'm getting pretty close on my hour. Don't take it apart as is. Okay. I don't know if you can even take apart the games themselves. I don't know if they're designed to take apart like you can the NES games, where you can pull them apart and clean them real good. But if they can be taken apart, I would like to take them apart and clean them real good just to make sure that they're going to work. Marty says, have a good night. and she'll talk to us later. All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Marty. It was good to have you. Woody says it'll mess the games up. Okay. Well, I'll probably do a little bit of research on that before I even attempt to do that. There were some pretty good games in that bundle. There's some of the classics, some of the Atari classics. So Woody says, "See y'all." And Woody, I'm going to try to join you on Wednesday at 2:00. You said, I think you said 2:00 on Wednesday that you're going to do a live stream. So I'll try to join you and get on your live stream if I can remember to do that. I thought I hit the notification bell for your channel so it would be notifying me whenever you went live, but it didn't. For some reason, it didn't notify me on Wednesday when you went live after my live stream. But I did go back and watch it, so yeah, it'll be recorded. But I did go back and watch your live stream afterwards, so I think I even, I'm not sure, but I think I commented on your live stream. But anyway, I guess I'm going to go ahead and call it a night and say good night to everybody. I hope that you guys have a terrific week. And for you, those of you who are resellers, I hope you have a great week reselling and that you make a whole bunch of money reselling. And it's a lot of fun, isn't it? But Marty and CG and Woody, and who else we got? Outdoors Dreadhead, William Smith, and anybody else who was on Badlands Bandit that I haven't mentioned. Thank you for joining me tonight. It was good to get to have you on, and I appreciate all your comments tonight, Woody. You really made the show a good show, and I appreciate you. Hope you can come back next week, and hope you guys have a terrific week. And we'll see you guys next week on 7:30 on live again, and we'll do it again. So you guys take care. Love you guys, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.